All right, so we're probably just going to want your blocks. We're going to try to keep this kind of a, hey Amanda, we're going to try to keep this pretty fluid for mobility. There's going to be exceptions to that, but we're going to try to sync up some breath body movement, at least for part of this. And so as always, you're going to find your best rhythm. Don't worry about keeping up with me, or also don't try to, slow down so much that it feels like you can't get a full breath. So as we get moving, it's likely that your breathing might have to shift and change a little bit to support the practice. So let's go ahead and start in a fully reclined position with our legs stretched out on the ground. Arms can stretch out on the ground as well. You could even take your hands onto your ribs or your belly just to feel that breath expansion. Nestle your shoulders down underneath you just a little bit more. Create some space between your shoulders and your neck. And then we're going to start super simple, joining movement with breath by inhaling, pulling the toes towards our shins, so ankle dorsiflexion, and exhale, point your toes away from you. Continue with your own pace. Maybe you can notice here that when you draw your toes towards you on your inhale, your heels kind of push your body the other direction. And then when you point your toes on the exhale, your body kind of slides down towards the toe side of your mat. Feeling into those points of contact that are meeting the ground. Sacral area, the back of the shoulders, the thighs and the calves. Let's do 2 more. Exhaling to point. Inhaling to pull the toes back towards us. And then just relax as you breathe naturally. And then we're going to send the arms not overhead, but just over the chest. So it feels like you're in an upside down plank pose. Stretch your palms open towards the ceiling. Flare out your fingers. This is going to be your inhale position. As you exhale, you're going to make fists and draw your knuckles forward into flexion. Inhale, open, flare. Exhale, fists and flex. And you're just going to keep rolling with your breath. Twice more. And then just let your arms rest beside you, bend your knees, plant your feet on your mat like you like them for your bridge pose. Starting with the pelvic rocking only, we'll keep the hips down. Inhale to tuck the pelvis under. So that's our posterior tuck, low back imprints. And then exhale, let your pelvis tip forward and let your low back curl off the ground. Keep going. Inhale, back of the ribs set down. Pelvis tucks. Exhale, we're tipping forward. Let's do 3 more little rocks. One more time. And then neutralize your spine and pelvis. Reach your arms back up over your chest. And on your inhale, you're going to reach your arms higher and feel your shoulder blades pull apart. And then really slowly exhale the back of your shoulders back to your mat. 3 more times. Inhale, shoulder blade protraction. Exhale, neutralize. Last 2. Back to the lower body. We're going to bridge up on an inhale. And slowly travel down to the floor on the exhale breath. Let's do 5 more of these. Even through this quicker transition than what we normally do, let's still try to isolate each vertebra, even if that's only happening in your mind. So the movement is wave-like rather than hinge-like. 3 more times. Inhale to rise it. Exhale to lower it. Last 2. Final 1. As you settle back down to neutral, let's go wider with the feet. Arms out to a T as well. Inhale, tip your legs to the left. Exhale to the center. Inhale, legs wiper to the right. Slowly exhale back to center. Keep flowing with your rhythm. Maybe making the breaths longer if that feels appropriate, so the movement gets super slow. Inhale to the right. Exhale, center. Keep going. We'll just do 2 more each side. Now when you finish the wipers, we're going to find a cannonball shape, and this is where your breathing is just going to kind of neutralize and be more organic. Don't think about any certain rhythm. Just start to rock on the spine, creating that flexion so you can roll on your spine. And then depending on how the rest of your body is feeling right now, you could try to get quite a bit of momentum built up so that you can plant your feet and come to a forward fold over your legs. If that's too much, just organize your body into a forward fold by any means necessary. Maybe the hands are grabbing onto the blocks here just to put them towards the front of your mat, but then rehang your spine and your arms over your legs. Let your head be heavy. And then we'll use the blocks, and if you don't have blocks, you can just take your hands to the front side of your shins. But if you do have blocks, let's bring them about under the shoulders. And we're going to try to maintain this very neutral table position in the spine. It might be slightly beyond horizontal, depending on the length of your arms and the height of your blocks. Now let's put a little arm flow together, feeling some strength in the spine and some stability on the back side of the hips. We will inhale the arms behind us and exhale, touch back down to the blocks. 2 more times, just moving the shoulders into extension and exhale to the blocks. 1 more time. And then we'll go laterally with the arms out wide on an inhale, but try not to let the ribs go open, and exhale, fingertips to the blocks. Open the arms wide as you breathe in, and exhale, hands to the blocks. Might be feeling some fatigue on the backside here. This is our last one with the arms like this. And then let's come back to that fold. Here your arms can hang off of the blocks, just over your legs. Let your head be heavy on your neck. And then let's bend the knees a lot. And on your inhale, either roll up or stand up and take your arms over your head. When you're ready to exhale, reach your right arm down beside you and stretch your left arm up and over. Inhale through the center, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. The exhale takes us into the left side bend. 1 more round. Inhale tall through the middle. Firm legs as you exhale, your spine arcs to the right. Through the center, Breathe in. And last time like this, side arc to the left. Arms are going to reach overhead first on the inhale, and then exhale, circle behind. Inhale, reaching forward and overhead. Exhale, shoulder extension with straight arms, reaching through those triceps. 2 more times. Let's try to maximize our range, leading with the thumbs, going behind as you overhead reach. And then going behind, isolating extension. We have 1 more. This time, as you take your arms behind you, let's also tip forward in the spine. Hold that halfway lift position. Hold the shoulder extension. Now we're going to inhale, arms reach overhead, changing our relationship to gravity, tasking the shoulders in flexion and extension. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale, reaching forward, but keep the ribs set down. Exhale, arc back with the arms. We just have 1 more. Forward. And then hands can find the blocks on the exhale. Just pause for a second. Now we're going to step the left toes towards the back of the mat. I'm going to keep a hold of my blocks here just because I want to get a little bit out of my right hip in terms of flexion. So you're going to lean into a lunge. Let that right knee travel forward to the toes if it wants to. That's going to be our inhale. And exhale, pyramid-like shape, but the back heel can stay up. You can drop your head. Inhale, drag that knee forward. Pull your heart forward a little bit too, almost like you're doing cow pose. And then exhale, as you rock the hips back, you can also flex your upper spine like the cat. 2 more times. Inhale, draw the heart forward, let the knee travel forward. Exhale, flex and straighten front leg. How about 1 more like that? Now just step your left foot up to meet your right. Hip width are all the way together. Come up halfway and lengthen as you breathe in. And exhale, refold over your legs. Rise to stand on your in-breath and interlace your hands behind your head. So here we're going to maintain a forward-facing pelvis, but as you exhale, you're going to turn the chest towards the left, like a little core twist. Inhale to the center. Core twist to the right. Be mindful that the pelvis isn't trying to turn. So in order to really focus on this upper body, we're keeping the shoulders set and the hips set, and we're just basically turning and stretching the ribs. Let's do 1 more set, each direction. Inhale to lengthen up, exhale to find that rotation. 2 arms are going to reach on an inhale. And then behind you on the exhale, maximizing shoulder extension. So this is like half of a shoulder car. We're just doing the overhead reach and the backwards reach. 1 more time. And on this repetition, as the arms go behind us, we do hip hinge into the forward fold. Pause there, find that shoulder extension, reaching back, drawing your shoulders out of your ears, and then reaching your arms forward on an inhale breath. Backwards on an exhale breath. 2 more times. Last one. Hands to your blocks. The right foot will go back in space. Finding just a really modest lunge. But as you inhale, you're gliding the knee forward. The hips can come down or forward a little bit, and you're going to arc into a little tiny cow pose. Exhale, working on a straighter front leg and maybe puffing up between the shoulder blades as you exhale. Let's do 3 more at least. Okay, so this time instead of stepping forward, we're just going to take it down to a tabletop. Traditional cat and cow, with the exception of what the breathing's doing. So we're going to still move 1 breath per movement, but we're going to inhale to cat. And exhale to cow. I just noticed something really funny on my mat, and I can't not tell you. Tuffy apparently had a treat on this mat. There are literally dog biscuit crumbs. This is my life. Inhale, stretch it up into that flexed position, and then exhale, pull the heart forward, lift the tail. Let's do 2 more. Okay, we're coming down to the forearms. Here we're just going to isolate the hips and rotation, not the whole hip car, but instead of just moving the leg front to back, we're going to kick the left leg back, keep the knee bent, and inhale, turn the hip to internal rotation. The toes are going to point outward. Exhale, spin your thigh bone and open it. Knee travels outward. Inhale to internal rotation. Exhale to external rotation. So the knee isn't really sweeping out to the side. We're not abducting the hip. It's just that corkscrew action of the femur in the acetabulum. Inhale, internal. Exhale, pivot, external. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Bring both knees and shins to the ground. Sit back on your heels. Give your shoulders and chest a little break. And just let your arms hang beside your body. Focus on a full breath. A really low and a wide breath as well. Forearms tabletop. The right leg, we're going to find the extended hip to start. So you're going to feel a little glutes, hopefully. Inhale, turn that hip inward. Medial rotation. Exhale, spiral it outward. Now you're setting your own pace here. Stabilizing with everything else. Right hip is going to mobilize. Breath is directing the flow and the pace. We'll do 2 more. And then set both shins down, walk your hands back, sit on your heels, let your arms hang. Inhale to let the shoulders elevate. Slow exhale to glide them back down. 3 more times. Shrugging and then settling. Last 2. Final one. I'm noticing how out of sync my shoulders are today. They're very confused. All right, tabletop position, retraction and protraction. We're going to inhale to protract. That's kind of pushing the floor away. And then exhaling, squeeze shoulder blades towards each other on your backside. Let's keep going. Inhale to protract. Exhale, try to squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades. 3 more times. Last 2. Last one. Tuck your toes, widen your shoulder blades on your back. Start to stretch your hips both backwards and upwards as we lift off for downward dog. Now maybe in your mind's eye, you can feel how your shoulder blades, at least those bottom edges, are pulling away from each other and also upwardly rotating. It's just the natural bone rhythms as we take our arms overhead. The scapula do need to kind of wing out to the side slightly. They're staying stable on your ribs, but they definitely are allowed to pivot. Let's lift the heels nice and high. and step the right foot through. Left knee's going to come down. You can pad that left knee if it needs it. Right hand is going to stabilize on the thigh for now. Left arm's going to come straight out like a wing. And now we're going to do some axial rotations or capsular rotations of this left shoulder. Internally rotating on inhale, externally rotating on exhale. 3 more times. Last 2. Try to get the upper arm to move before the wrist turns. Final 1. Inhale, turn the bicep down and back. Exhale, turn the bicep up and back. Now this left hand's going to come across to this right leg. You're still trying to kind of hug your legs towards each other. Right arm's going to reach forward. This will be our inhale position. As you exhale, you're going to create a rowing motion. Right elbow draws back. Turn the chest. Inhale, reach forward, neutralize. Exhale, pull back. 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. As you pull that elbow back this time, we're going to hold the twisting position. You can open the right arm all the way and then press your right leg outward into that hand and resist back with that left hand and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Come back to the front. Your hands can come to the floor or your blocks for the transition. We're going to step it up. Forward dangle. Inhale to lengthen your spine up to that halfway lift. Exhale, refolding. Inhale, come up to mountain pose. Interlace the hands behind your head again. Exhale, side crunch to the right, shortening the right side. Through the center. And side bend to your left. Back to the middle, we're going to do a set of twists. Inhale, center. When you exhale, you're twisting either direction, doesn't matter which. Try to keep the shoulders and the hips out of it. Twisting the other direction. And then back to the center, reach your arms overhead. And on your exhale, follow your pelvis to that forward fold. Step back to a tabletop with the knees hovering just a sliver off the ground. Inhale to the cow pose this time. Tail and heart lift. Exhale, tuck and round. Knees just stay hovering. Pelvis and shoulders stay at about the same height. And we're trying to find that extended breath through both of the movements. Last 1. Inhale, heart up, tail up. Exhale, cat. Neutralize your back. Scoot your hips back and then stretch your hips up, downward face. Heels are going to lift. As you exhale, heels will spin to the right, toes to the left. Stretch the left side. Inhale to the middle. Exhale, pivot toes right, heels left. Inhale to the middle. Exhale, settle the heels down right behind the toes. And then just take a look forward, step your left foot forward, bring your right knee to the ground. Come up to that low kneeling lunge, right knee about under the hip. We're generating some front to back action with the legs to keep us a little bit more stable. And then your left hand will just brace against that left hand will brace against that left thigh. Right arm is out to the side, shoulder height. Internal spiral, like a thumbs down. External spiral, that's the exhale breath. Inhale, internal. Exhale, exhale, external. That is a tongue twister, but it's an easy way to remember how we're doing it. Last 1, spiral that upper arm bone inward and outward. And then the right arm's gonna come across and hold the left leg. Maybe you hold your knee, maybe you just have your fingers holding the outside edge. Left arm forward on the in-breath, chest is forward. Exhale, pull back a bowstring and turn your chest open to the left as much as possible. Inhale, forward reach, square up. Exhale, pull it back and twist. 3 more times. The arm is moving, but also those nice rotational muscles in the core. Last time to stretch forward on the inhale, and then we're going to pull on the exhale, turn maximally, and then stretch both arms. Or you can keep this front hand on the left leg, and if you're doing that, you're working the leg out into the hand and the arms resisting back for 3, 2, and unravel the twist, bring your hands back down, tuck your back toes and step forward. Another little dangling pose. You could make this a more intentional forward bend by observing your hip creases and trying to flex at the hip more from an internal effort rather than pulling yourself deeper with your arms. So it becomes a choice, not just the default because of gravity. And then you can bend your knees and either roll up slow or do the hinge up. And we're going to just do a little bit of dynamic balance from a standing position. So you could either do this all the way up vertical, or you could maybe take your hands to your blocks and do it from a forward fold. I personally think that would be a little harder, but you could try it that way if you feel like your balance isn't super awesome today, which that's part of the practice, right? Maybe being a little bit wobbly. Right leg is going to be our fixed point, and all we're going to do with this left leg is lift it up and place it down randomly and let the arms just help you find your balance. Now the right leg could be all the way straight the whole time, or you could bend into that right leg and maybe tap your toes back into the right like a curtsy, and then let's say you want to tap the toes out front, and then maybe you go over here to like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, body tips to the right. Then maybe you want to go way back behind you with those left toes. So you're just mixing it up. The right foot is fixed. The body can lean either forward, backwards, or sideways to accommodate whatever position you've chosen to put the left leg in. And every time we replace the foot, let's come back up to kind of a neutral stance. So super random. Try to fully extend to a right hip extension every repetition. Let's try to do 2 or 3 more placements till we're getting some good heat on the right side of the right hip. And then find just a neutral stance in your mountain pose. And you're going to do this little bounce where you're just bending the knees slightly and kind of jiggling the body, almost like you would for jumping on a trampoline, but you're not actually leaving the ground. It's just a little bounce. The arms are just kind of springing around, responding to that ground force. And then we're going to do that same dynamic balance using the left leg as our balancing leg and creating a random pattern placement with the right leg, coming up to standing, and then finding another reaching point. That left knee could get super low if you wanted it to, but each time you're trying to return to kind of like a mountain pose. Let's do 3 or so more placements. And then find your mountain pose again, and just that little tiny bounce. Find some stability and stillness. Inhale to rise the shoulders. Exhale, slowly let them draw back down. 2 more times. Elevating, and then just letting gravity take them back down. We have 1 more like that. Arms come out front. Inhale, pull the arms forward more. That's your protraction. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. 3 more. Last one. Now we're just going to pause, close our eyes, perhaps place the hands somewhere on the body just so we can notice that expansive quality to our inhales. Let's aim for 4 counts to 6 counts inward with the breath, and either 5, 6, 7, 8 counts on the exhale. Last couple. Let's do 1 more breath together. Embody that inhale, maximal expansion in all directions. And then a steady stream, exhaling all the air out of your lungs. And that's all I have for you today. Tried to keep it about 30 minutes, pretty darn close. Feel free to pop in and let me know what you thought of this class, or if you're on the Facebook group, you can leave me a note. I have time to chat.